Hello people, welcome to the channel Free Management Education. Today we will talk about theories of international business, and the theories are Mercantilism Theory, Absolute Advantage Theory, Comparative Advantage Theory, Hecksher-Ohlin Theory, Leontief Paradox, New Trade Theory, and Porter's Competitive Advantage, that is the Diamond Model Theory. Okay, the first theory is Mercantilism Theory. It emerged in England in mid-16th century. Here, gold and silver were the mainstay of national wealth and also were the currency of trade. Okay, a country could earn gold and silver by exporting goods. So the main tenet of this theory was that it is in a country's best interest to maintain a trade surplus, to export more than it imported. Okay, imports were limited by tariffs and quotas, and exports were subsidized. The flaw of mercantilism was that it viewed trade as a zero-sum game. So what is a zero-sum game? It means that the gain of one is the loss of another. Gain of one results in the loss of another. Like in a India-Pakistan cricket match, if India wins, Pakistan loses. If Pakistan wins, India loses. So gain of one is the results in the loss of another. So this is the mercantilism theory. So gold and silver were the currency of trade. Exporting more than importing was recommended, and it is a zero-sum game. That is the only and the main flaw. Okay, not the only but the main flaw. Now the absolute advantage theory, it is given by Adam Smith. Okay, in 1776, he attacked the mercantilist assumption of zero-sum game. Okay, so what is the essence of this theory? The main essence is that countries should specialize in the production of goods for which they have an absolute advantage, and then trade these goods for those produced by other countries. Okay, so if you have an absolute advantage in producing or manufacturing a product, then you should do it. Okay, and then trade those goods for others which you do not have the absolute advantage. So Smith's basic argument therefore is that a country should never produce goods at home that it can buy at a lower cost from other countries. If you can get a product from other countries at a lower cost, then you should not produce it. You should produce the good that you have an absolute advantage in it. Okay, that no other country can do it, like no other country can produce the goods like you do. Okay, no other country can manufacture that same particular product like you do. So that is the absolute advantage theory. Okay, now comes the comparative advantage theory. It is given by David Ricardo. According to this theory, it makes sense for a country to specialize in the production of those goods that it produces most efficiently and to buy those goods that it produces less efficiently from other countries, even if this means buying goods from the other countries that it could produce more efficiently itself. Suppose this is one country and this is another country. Okay, and if you're producing good that you have maximum advantage, then obviously you should produce it, you should manufacture it, and then you can export the good to other countries, right? And also you should buy goods from this country. You should buy goods from this country. Okay, when you when you're less efficient in producing those goods, then you should buy those goods from another country if you are less efficient in producing those goods. Even, and the last part, even if this means buying goods from the other countries that it could produce more efficiently itself, that means even if you could produce more efficiently than this country, then also you should buy the goods from that country, because this creates a free trade environment. This creates a good economic environment, okay, where both the country gains. So this is what it says. It makes sense for a country to specialize in the production of those goods that it produces most efficiently and to buy the goods that it produces less efficiently from other countries. Okay, even if this means buying goods from other countries that it could produce more efficiently itself, even if you could produce that particular good that you are buying from that country more efficiently, still you should buy it. Okay. This theory also suggests that potential world production is greater with unrestricted free trade than it is with restricted trade. So it promotes the free trade. It suggests that trade is a positive sum game, which means all countries that participate realize economic gains. That is, all countries that participate can earn profit. This theory also suggests that opening a country to free trade stimulates economic growth, which creates dynamic gains from trade. Why is it dynamic? Obviously, if you are doing a business, you cannot expect static gain. Like if you earn this much amount every month, there should be fluctuations. That's why dynamic gain. Okay. Next, Hecksher-Ohlin theory. Ricardo's theory stresses that comparative advantage arises from differences in productivity. Obviously, if you are more efficient in producing, then you should export, and if you are less efficient in producing a particular product, then you should import it from another country where they are efficient in producing it. Okay. According to this theory, comparative advantage arises from differences in national factor endowments. What does that mean, factor endowments? It means that countries endowed with resources like land, labor and capital. These are the factor endowments. Obviously, capital investment, land, labor are most important part. The more abundant a factor, the lower cost. Okay, if you have labor, if you have more labor, then the cost is much lower, right? This theory predicts that countries will export those goods that make intensive use of factors that are locally abundant. If you have something in abundance, then you will give it away. Okay. So this theory predicts that countries will export those goods that makes intensive use of factors that are locally abundant. You are exporting those goods that you have more, that you have in abundance, while importing goods that makes intensive use of factors that are locally scarce, which are locally rare kind of, which are not available that much in that much amount. Also, when the goods are locally scarce, that is not available much, then obviously you cannot export them, right? You should import them. So this is the Hecksher-Ohlin theory, which says that the national factor endowments like land, labor and capital makes the comparative advantage. Also, like Ricardo's theory, this theory suggests that free trade is beneficial. Okay. Unlike Ricardo's theory, this theory argues that pattern of international trade is determined by differences in factor endowments rather than differences in productivity, okay, which I just mentioned. Next comes the Leontief paradox. Here, under the Hecksher-Ohlin theory, Leontief postulated that because the United States was relatively abundant in capital, that is, United States have more capital compared to other nations, United States would be an exporter of capital intensive good. It makes sense, right? I have capital, I have more capital, so I would be exporting capital, and an importer of labor intensive good, and I will import labor intensive goods. Okay. But to his surprise, however, he found that US exports were less capital intensive than US imports. Okay. So this is a paradox. This is an exception. Okay. This result was at variance with the predictions of the Hecksher-Ohlin theory. It has become known as Leontief paradox. This is a paradox. Okay. This is an exception. Okay. Now comes the new trade theory. It suggests that nations may benefit from trade even if they do not differ in resource endowments or technology. Okay, what does it mean? It means that if this is one nation and this is another nation, and if they do not differ in the land, labor, capital, okay, both are in the same level in these two countries, still they may benefit from doing trade with each other. How? Because trade allows a nation to specialize in production of certain products. Okay, which helps them in attaining scale of economies. What does it mean? It means that the unit cost reduction associated with large scale of output. You have heard about bulk production. In bulk production, the unit costs become much lower. So that is when you specialize in a particular production, in a production of certain products, attaining scale of economies and lowering the cost of producing these products, again while buying products that it does not produce from other nation, that specialize in the production of other products. Suppose this is one nation, okay, and they produce tea much more efficiently, okay, and this country produces coffee much more efficiently, okay, but they do not differ in land, labor and capital. But if they do trade with each other, then obviously they will benefit from each other, because this country will have access to coffee and they will also have access to tea, okay. So if they are specialized in tea, they can also buy coffee from this country, and if they are specialized in coffee, they can buy tea from another country. This is what it says, that when you are specializing in a production of certain products, attaining scale of economies and lowering the cost of producing these products while buying products that it does not produce from other nations that specialize in the production of other products, okay. So by this mechanism, variety of products available to consumers in each nation is increased, okay. So this is what happens. They are producing tea only, but they are also buying coffee because this country specializes in coffee. And again, this country specializes in coffee and they are buying tea from this country, and this country is specializing in tea production. So to customers, there are tea and coffee, both are available. To customers, tea and coffee, both are available. Okay. So that is it. What it says, that variety of products available to consumers, okay, in each nation is increased when the average cost of this product should fall, as should their price. Okay. So next part, this theory also suggests that a country may predominate in the export of goods simply because it was lucky enough. Okay, it was lucky enough to have one or more firms among the first to produce the good. Like it's like a monopoly. Okay, you came into the market earlier and you have a right on everything, on every aspect of that particular. For example, Microsoft. Okay, Windows operating system in Windows, like that, they are the king. Okay, so they are the first mover. Okay, they invented that. So because they are able to gain economies of scale, the first movers in an industry, they are called first movers because they invented it first. Okay, they came first. The first movers in industry may get a lock on the world market. Okay. They have already occupied the whole world market, which discourages others to entry, which discourages subsequent entry. This discourages other players to enter into that market because they will think that Microsoft has already occupied that market, so what will we do? Okay. So first movers' ability to benefit from increasing returns creates a barrier to entry. Okay. So this is the new trade theory. The first part is the variety of products available to consumers, and second part is the first mover thing. Okay. Now the last part, the Porter's theory of competitive advantage, or the Porter's diamond model, because this looks like a diamond actually, that's why it says a diamond model. Okay. So the firm strategy, structure, rivalry. Okay. This is the first. Demand conditions in the market, the related and supporting industry. Suppose you are you are involved with the automobile industry, then obviously for automobile industry it requires steel, so there should be steel industry too. Okay. Next, there is factor conditions, like factor endowments, which I just mentioned, like basic factors like land, labor, advanced factors like education, digital communication, generalized factor like capital, infrastructure, specialized factor like skilled personnel. Okay. So just go through them. So this is the Porter's theory of competitive advantage, and they are all dependent on each other. Okay. If demand condition is low, then automatically that will affect these three also. Okay. So they are related to each other. That's why it's a diamond, where they are all connected to each other. These are the major forces, and also there is a government intervention. That's why it says state. Okay. So this is the end of this video. So thanks for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Okay. And my email ID is given in the description box. Do comment if you want some specific videos on some specific topics. Okay. Thank you. Stay safe. Take care of your family.